Boom. Hey people. Um quick video that I wanted to make about partnering up. And I had this conversation with one of my ex interns at Arisu, and super talented cat, and he's about to get into a partnership. And so I've made videos about this, and I'm gonna put a card or cards to it up as I go through the video. But it's good to kind of touch on an update, like as this is post dating right now. I mean, I would say definitely a couple times a year I get offered to get partnered into some sort of apparel arrangement, or I get pitched an idea. Well, ideas I get pitched maybe monthly, but to be a part of something, that conversation comes up more than the average designer, I'd say, for me, just because I'm on the internet um, doing this channel. So even for me, I have a lot of questions, because what I bring to the table is somewhat, depending on who it is somewhat apparent what I could do in terms of design, design development, and then creative direction or brand management. But like this video is kind of for green startups, like new startups, and then also students, the other portion of people that watch my YouTube channel, because students I think are susceptible to this as well, because you're in an environment where it's all creative and you're all pushing for your projects, and you end up meeting other people who are really good at say like web and graphics and what have you, and people form agencies, and they say, hey, this guy does web, and this guy, I do graphic design, and this guy does like fashion design, so our web agency or our agency does everything. But taking that example first, because this has come up before, is those never work out. Those never work. I mean, sometimes they do, but most of the time it ends up bad, because if you guys end up bringing in work, like let's say you bring in a client and he ends up wanting 4 websites. Well, and you're partnered with 2 other people. One does web and video, let's say. One does graphic design, and one does product design and apparel design, right? Um, all respective crafts. But like on that client, the web designer is going to do like 4 websites. What's everyone else going to do? And does everyone get paid for the work that the web designer does, just based on the agreement that everyone's going to put a little bit back into the pot? Um, it doesn't make any sense unless it's a set agency that brings in the clientele, and then you're more like hiring people at that point. But can you build it up to that? Yes. I'm just saying, most case scenario, people end up breaking off and going, I'm just going to do my own thing, which might be better if you just kind of like freelance yourself and create a network of people and say, hey, if you give me a job, I'll give you a kickback, and if I get work for you, what do I get for that, or exchange of services and that sort of thing. So for apparel though, same concept. Is there's a lot of questions if you're starting off in a brand new company. Like, if you're the graphic designer, you're gonna do a lot of the work. So like, let's say you have a person that's good at video. Like, video is an accessory and a luxury for a bare bones startup. I'm saying it's an important part of marketing, but not essential to the actual birthing of the brand, right? I mean, like, there's creating the product and then sales, moving it, make it, move it, make it, move it, right? Sell, sell, sell. Make $50,000 happen, and then you have proof of concept. But within getting to that $50,000, you just have to make it and sell it. There's a little bit less of like worrying about brand. Get it on people's backs, get the hats on people's heads, get people to talk about it. Make sure the Instagram is tight. Like, within that, how much video do you need? I mean, you will need some. You can work it in. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just talking about division of labor. Okay, because if there's a graphic person who's going to be the apparel person, who's going to set up basically all of the initial product, that's a lot of work. I mean, that could arguably be 70% of the work. And so if it's that person's concept as well, then is everyone dividing the ownership up equally? You know, it doesn't make any sense if you're doing more of the work. And that's just the beginning of list of questions. What if the company does well, and then you find out the person who does the least work is spending the most money on the account's ATM? You know, like, business meetings and strip clubs. I mean, like, which happens, but like if he does it on a weekly basis, I mean, can you guys stop him legally? And is it, what do you guys have in the contract for that? What kind of language do you have in the contract in that scenario? So the biggest point of this video, I feel like it's getting rant-ish. This is my version of a rant, but explore every single option and have that discussion before you even come close to creating the contract. It's like a marriage. Partnership is like a marriage. So you got to go through, what if one partner goes crazy or turns out to be a drug addict or something like that? Can the other 2 or 3 partners vote someone out? Something to think about. What if the division of labor is not equal? You know, how does that work? You know, if someone wants to leave at some point, how do they get their money back if they put money in? There's a million factors. So while the excitement of actually having a brand and other people invested into the idea and saying that you're part of a new clothing line is cool as a venture, the bigger homework is trying to go through all of the scenarios and then put that into some sort of formal binding contract so that you can be able to talk about any bad situation beforehand and before you guys say you are working united under a brand name. And in any other case, it ends up being good for an education when you move on to your next venture or life experience for that matter. Anyways, hope that helps. Anything to add to the conversation, please drop it down below. I'll see you guys on the internet. Peace.